Hey YouTube, so today we're going to show you how to change your oil. Real quick, simple, easy process, but it's something that's a maintenance thing that you need to do, because if you don't change your oil, then you run the risk of ruining your motor. So it's real simple. Stick around, we'll go through the steps, show you how to do. Basically the first step and the easiest step is picking the car up, but you got to get up under the car to get to the oil drain plug. Stick around, we'll get to it. Alright, hey YouTube, so today we're going to show you how to change your motor oil on a car. Real simple, real easy. I know some of you don't understand or know how to do it, and I got a request for how to do it, so I figured I'd make you a video of how to do it. The things that you will need are a simple tool kit, some wrenches. I'd like to suggest that you go ahead and get like one that's going to have the sizes from like 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 on up to 19 millimeter. Most of your newer cars are metric, so that should help you out. You would need 5 quarts of oil and a filter, new filter. Always change your filter when you're changing your oil. Always use fresh new oil. Now as far as the name brand, that's up to you. This customer provided this particular brand, so that's what they like, that's what they bought, that's what we'll put in the car. But people always ask me, what name brand, does it really matter what brand of oil I use? I said, well, if you haven't changed your oil forever, it really doesn't matter, just as long as you change it. Some cars are kind of finicky to it, but you'll have to read the owner's manual to find out if your car has a finickiness as far as the type of oil or the weight of oil. Also, some people ask me, what weight of oil should I use in my car? If you look on the oil cap right here, see this car says 530. All right. This car has a few more miles on it. This is what the weight of the oil was when it was new from the factory with, like 0 miles. But after you get, some mileage on the car, you want to, get a little bit thicker oil there, just in case it wears. So the owner of this one got 10W30 instead of going with 5W30. They said they like it better, it gets better performance. But either way, we're going to show you how to change the oil there. This little yellow tab here is how you check the oil. We'll check the oil in the end and show you how to do that. But I just wanted to kind of give you an introduction to this and what we're going to do, and basically we're going to be changing oil today. So the first step we would do is pick up the car to gain access up under the car, and then we'll go through and change it. Step 2, after lifting the car up or getting up under the car or parking over a ditch where you can have access to it, you want to remove this bolt right here. This is your drain pan bolt right here, and basically you'll take the wrench. This particular one is a 14 millimeter. Just stick it on there and turn it and remove it. Now once you remove this bolt right here, the oil is going to come flowing out, so make sure you have a catch container down there to catch your oil, because if not, you'll make a big mess. Alright, we're going to take that bolt off and let the oil drain, and we'll be right back. You pull your drain plug, you notice your oil drains down. It's a real simple process here. But for some people that don't know how to do it, it'll help you out a little bit. See how black that oil is? Alright. When it gets burned up like that, you don't really have good lubricating properties of the oil. So that's why you need to change it. Now after you drain all the oil out from removing the drain plug, you'll want to find the filter. In this case, the filter's up here, right there. So you'll get a wrench, take a wrench, and you'll spin that filter off and let the oil drain from there. Then you'll replace your filter with a new one. Always replace your filter with a new one. And after all this drains out, you want to replace that drain plug and get it good and tight. Sometimes you may find that the seal on the drain plug is messed up. There's a little seal that goes around there. If it is, you can go to the auto parts store and get another seal, and that'll stop the drain plug from leaking if you have a leak around there. The tool to have when you're changing your oil is an oil filter wrench. Notice this is a pretty funny looking tool, but it's designed to reach around and grab your oil filter. As you can see in this case, it's recessed up there, so we can easily go up there with the wrench, grab it, squeeze it, and then we can easily take that off. And once you get it broke tension, a lot of times you can remove the wrench and just stick your hand up there and spin that off. But be careful, once you start spinning it, you notice you'll start getting oil to leak out. So let all that oil drain out. Then you reach up there and remove that. That way you won't make as much of a mess. One thing you could do while that's draining is go ahead and put your drain plug back in to your oil pan. This particular car has an access panel here in the front that, you know, we can drop this down and reach in there and get that oil filter out. Sometimes you'll find that there's your old oil filter there. And right there, that's where the oil filter mounts up onto the motor. The one thing that you want to make sure of is that the rubber O-ring is not on the block of the motor whenever you go to put it back. Sometimes on some of these oil filters, you see this rubber O-ring here? Aha. Sometimes that will come out of your oil filter. It'll come off the oil filter and stick to the oil, stick to the block. You do not want that, because that right there will cause the next filter to leak and cause you all type of problems and stuff. So make sure that O-ring is not on that mount right there. Okay. Now, if it's not there, then great. Go ahead and install your new oil filter. And of course, on this one, you have to button up this little panel to get back to hide it. You know, the oil filter back. That's where it is. And also, sometimes you'll see some dirt and debris on there. It's okay to clean that off with like a clean rag. But whenever you are going back with it, remember you're going to lubricate your new oil filter. So that oil that's on there is not going to hurt anything. Alright, now we have our new filter installed. We can put our flap back up. Our access panel rather. Now all cars don't necessarily have an access panel because they don't always need it. It just depends on the location of the oil filter. But like I say, on this particular one, the oil filter's right there. So it makes it a little bit cumbersome to get to. So now we've got our oil filter on, have our drain plug back in. We can now lower the vehicle and add the oil. Manufacturer's recommendation oil level for this particular car is 5 quarts of oil. So we'll put 5 quarts of oil in there. And then we'll measure it to make sure that we have enough. Again, before we lower it down, make sure that your drain plug is installed and tight, and make sure that your filter's on and tight. Step is you want to take your oil and pour it in the car. I suggest using a funnel so you don't make a mess. I mean, if you do kind of miss the hole and get it down on your exhaust manifold, you're going to have some oil smoke, which you probably aren't going to want. Like I said before, this car takes 5 quarts, and this is labeled 5 quarts. So we can actually just pour all this in here. After you pour all the oil in, I'm going to give it a second so it'll flow down into the oil pan. Then you'll check the level of the oil to make sure that it's registering on the stick. As you can see, here's your stick here. So you'll pull that out and measure. I can't do it and film at the same time, so I'll have to put one of them down. But basically what you do is you pull this stick out, wipe it down with a cloth, and then stick it back in and measure and see where the oil level is on there. Also, when you're doing it, you don't want to take it and hold it upside down, because that'll make the oil run down the stick and give you a false reading. So when you pull it out, always have your stick pointing down and read it pointing down as well. That way you get a good, true, accurate reading there. Alright, so I'm going to finish pouring this oil in this car, and this is pretty much it for this video. Of course, you put the cap back on, and then you'll start it up. And when you start the vehicle up for the first time after oil change, you don't want to, you know, gun it or anything like that, because you got to remember you just drained all the oil out of it, and you know, some things are going to be a little less oily, kind of dry on the motor, and you don't want to damage any internal working parts. So just start it up and let it idle for a little bit to get the oil circulating. Some people will even like to check their oil after they start it up for the first time. I had one guy, he uses a really large filter, and he's like, oh man, the filter oil is a quart of oil itself, which, you know, I was looking at it, it was a little bit small car. No way in the world that filter could hold a quart of oil. But either way, if you have any questions or comments, please post, chat, subscribe. Other than that, thanks YouTube. Have a great day.